This is KUGAN CASSIUS for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm delighted to be joined by Joseph Parker. Fight week, how you feeling, mate?
Fight week, truthfully, I'm feeling very good. I feel relaxed, feel calm, and all the hard work's been done. Now we're here. We're here. We're in the bubble. Time to work.
Are you okay for weight tomorrow?
I think I should be fine. I've watched what I've been eating, training hard. I'm jumping on the scales each day to check if I'm on weight. So I should be fine tomorrow.
I hope you do make weight tomorrow, Joe. Joe, this morning, 10 o'clock this morning, it was a little bit of a bizarre situation going on. I just want to kind of talk about that and talk about why you think that Derek kind of invited you, obviously in front of a lot of cameras, etc., to have breakfast. Was it psychological? Was it mind games? But you kind of probably anticipated it was a little bit of that, but you came anyway.
Yeah, he invited me to come to breakfast yesterday. So he said to me, 10 o'clock today we'll have breakfast. I said, okay then. It was quite a strange experience, to be honest. Like, it's probably one of the most strangest things I've done before a fight. Sit down and have breakfast with the opponent. And then it was talking of, the talk was, how's your family, how's your kids? And then it turned into, how are you going to fight? Are you scared of me, or are you confident? You can't knock me out. Are you going to run? Can we place bets? I want to knock you. So it was all sort of quite mixed up. I came anyways and sat there and had a chat, and I expected him to, be a lot more aggressive or to pull something out of the bag, something a bit more, entertaining. But it was quite calm and respectful.
Yeah, it was. If we kind of sum up the first 15 minutes, where it was a lot of pleasantries about, he was talking about which Derek is that kind of guy to ask you about your kids, etc. And then as we moved into the last quarter, it was almost a little bit like, then he was trying to kind of tap into your mind a little bit by, saying, how you're going to approach the fight, are you going to run, like you were just saying.
Yeah, so it started off real nice, and then he sort of changed it up a bit. But just sitting there, I was calm and relaxed, and I just wanted to see what he was going to do and what he was going to say. I know he's trying to play mind games, and maybe he's trying to show more kindness and sort of warm up to me. But it's going to be a different case come fight day. Fight night, it's going to be a lot different.
But just sitting there, 2 days out from the fight, across the table from Derek, in that kind of environment, what did you read, body language-wise? What did you see in his eyes? Despite the kind of possible mind games he was attempting to play with you, what did you see in him that you can kind of come away from thinking, I don't know, was he doing it because he was nervous? Was it doing it because he was trying to kind of mess with you? How did you view that?
For me, I felt like he's actually a changed person. Or leading up to other fights, he's been a lot of times where he's been crazy. So I feel like with this fight and leading up to this fight, he's just trying to be nice. But I don't know. I take it as he's trying to get me to sort of put my guard down, and play this nice guy sort of game. And then my guard will go down, and then he'll be like he's got me. But I know what to expect come fight time. He'll probably turn it up tomorrow. He'll probably switch it up tomorrow for the weigh-in. Today is nice breakfast, respectful at the press conference, just chilled out. But tomorrow he might switch it up.
Now, obviously, you've not been stopped or knocked out in your entire professional career, Joseph. So I suppose the common questions that everyone wondering, if Chisora is going to do that, you've been in with some very big punches, obviously, notably Anthony Joshua, but how is Derek Chisora going to do that? So it's not really a question for you, but to say how is Derek Chisora going to do that to you? But I suppose when we kind of look at the fight and we look at like David Haye talking today, him saying that there's going to be a knockout, but then we have to look at kind of facts and see your track record of that situation and know that you haven't been knocked out. So I suppose the question to them is, how do they knock you out?
How are they going to do it? That's a big question. And if they do achieve their goal of knocking me out, they'll be the first person to do it ever. So, but I back myself. I back myself in terms of my skill and technique, what I've been working on with Andy, and I back my chin. It's not. I'm not saying I'm going to go out there and get hit in the chin and test it out. Yeah. I've tested it out already. But if I go in there and box, the way I know I can box, and for him he has to do a lot more than just chase me down and throw a lucky punch to knock me out.
Who's, say, not rocked you, but who's hit you the hardest in your career professionally?
Professionally, the one that I remember would be Andy Ruiz when we had the fight in New Zealand. But the person that dropped me was Dillian White. That dropped me, so obviously that might have been the harder punch. But at the time, I didn't feel like that was a harder. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to explain. The one I remember though is the Ruiz punch because it just stung.
I mean, like I said to you, you've been in with people like Dillian White, Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz, and all these kind of guys. So, from an outside perspective, we can only take how you've performed and the fact that you haven't been stopped in those fights.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been stopped in those fights, and like I said, I back myself. And we've honestly trained the house down for this fight. Physically, we've done everything we can to be in the best shape. So I'm not expecting to go in and lose, and I'm not expecting to get knocked out. But there's always that chance, you know. There's always that chance. So you got to be realistic in fights. You know, you back yourself, you want to win, but there's always that chance that it might not go your way. So you always have that in your mind.
Obviously, we know you're fighting 2 days out, so I don't know how aware of kind of the boxing back and forths that doesn't kind of includes yourself, but doesn't really include you, have been having between Eddie Hearn and Tyson Fury over the last 2 days. Have you kept up to date? Do you know about all this that's been said over the last 2 days?
I've been seeing Tyson's stories, you know, aiming at Eddie Hearn, and I've been seeing Eddie Hearn. I don't know what is it all about.
Well, okay, so I'm going to give you some highlights of the situation over the last 2 days. So today, in an interview I did with Eddie Hearn, Tyson Fury has obviously put some videos out claiming that Eddie Hearn isn't backing the Brit, shall we say, with his friend Billy Joe Saunders, who's obviously takes on Canelo next week. Eddie Hearn's counter to this was the fact that Tyson Fury has been helping you to plot the downfall of a fellow Brit in Derek Chisora. That's what, yeah. And Tyson's come back and responded by that by calling you an honorary gypsy, yeah, today.
Yeah, I'm an honorary New Zealand Samoan gypsy. I am part of the gypsy group now. But I mean, all of this I think it's all good for hyping up the fight, really. And what's the word with the fight? Is it locked in yet?
Say that again.
What's the words of the fight, the big mega fight? Is it locked in yet or what?
It's like a long drawn out soap opera with no ending. I think, Joseph, is the best way to explain that. But I do want to talk to you about kind of your link up with Andy Lee. Is Andy Lee behind me? Yes. Oh, I'll be careful what I say about him then. I spoke to Andy yesterday, and he kind of said to us what we already knew, because you've spoken about kind of how that relationship formed with Andy Lee, and it had obviously massive influence from Tyson Fury. Can you just kind of talk me through that process of, first of all, I mean, I don't want you to go into it, but obviously you split with Kevin Barry was a little bit of a shock just because you've obviously been with him for so long, and I'm assuming there's a great respect there, but now you've moved on training-wise in your career. But can you just kind of sum it up for me? Yeah,
after the last fight with Junior Fire in New Zealand, it was always good to get the win, but I wasn't happy with my performance. And it's no one's fault. It's probably my own fault for going in there trying to look for the knockout, not letting things flow. So I made the decision after the fight that I wanted to try something different. Kevin and I sat down, a lot of respect for him, grateful for everything that we've done, but I felt like it was time to try something new. So I texted Tyson, he gave me a call, and we started chatting about training, about coaches, and he really rated Andy as one of the top 3 he's trained with in terms of not just training but being a teacher of the sport of boxing. So then one thing led to the next. I'm on a few Zoom calls with Andy, 3 of them or 4 of them. Then 6 or 7 days later I'm on an aeroplane flying to Ireland to start training camp, because there was this fight May 1 sort of sitting there. It wasn't locked in yet, but I wanted to, I don't know, just come here, meet him, get to work, and then lock the fight in and start training camp. And that's how it all started.
It's an interesting dynamic, especially how Derek Chisora's obviously obtained Buddy McGirt in the corner and yourself with Andy Lee. So we don't know how, from an outside perspective, those dynamics work until Saturday night. And a little bit that applies to yourself as well. Until you have proof in the pudding, shall we say, you don't know quite how the relationship works. But talking to Andy Lee, and Andy Lee is one of the most experienced people in boxing. We know kind of he's an up-and-coming trainer, shall we say, but he's worked with Tyson Fury on one of the most important fights of Fury's career in the win over Wilder. So I suppose a recommendation from Tyson Fury kind of speaks for itself in a certain way.
I feel like that recommendation, like anything I had planned or any other options that might have been the case, it was just taken away and I was straight, I was taking that advice and recommendation. And firstly, Andy had to be free to take me on. He has a young family himself, so once that started, it's been a great camp.
Absolutely. Do you talk differently because someone's in front of you? Because I always wonder whether people, when they can see someone in their eye line, does their thought process change at all?
Slightly.
How confident are you that you will knock out Derek Chisora on Saturday night?
I'm confident I have the power to knock out Derek. I'm not going to go into the fight looking for the knockout because whenever I do, the case is I never get it. So I just want to go in there and let things flow and just relax with it. Relax and have fun. But I am confident that if I land a shot at the right time with proper technique that I've been taught, it should be a great night. And he's confident within himself, and that's what makes it a great fight. You have two guys who, even though he's been in the game for a long time with a lot of experience, he still has confidence that he can beat someone like me who's still newer than him in the game.
Do I owe you an apology, Joseph?
For what?
A slight mistake I made in one of my previous videos, which a lot of people probably don't know about. Some people will know about it, but some people won't. Do I owe you an apology?
Nah, no, not really. It was a mistake putting my number out there. But I'll tell you this though, the amount of support that I've been getting from releasing my number, like the calls, we support you, all the text messages. Thank you to everyone who texts me and supports me. I appreciate it, and if I haven't replied, I will reply when I can.
Okay, Joe, honestly, you're almost too nice of a guy. So for people that don't know, in an interview I did with Chisora where he tried to FaceTime you, there was a segment which has now been removed, obviously, so don't go looking for that, by the way, now. But there was a moment where if you screenshotted it, you could have obtained your home number, your personal number, which was completely my fault. I know we messaged each other and you were like, no man, this is great because they're all just messaging me and ringing me up, but yeah.
So the first guy who called me, I'm like, oh hey, who's this? He's like, hey Joe, got your number off YouTube. I just want to say I'm a big supporter of yours. I said, oh thank you bro, nice to meet you. And I kept getting a phone call like that, but it was okay.
All right, well listen, I do need to apologise. I know I have apologised to you about that, but it was kind of an editorial blunder, shall we say.
Oh, listen, we all make mistakes. And hopefully it doesn't occur again.
Hopefully not. Joe, I don't want to talk to you about kind of any other potential fight because we know the kind of from speaking to yourself and speaking to Andy about where you want to be. You want to be where you were once at. You were WBO heavyweight world champion, whether it's WBO or whoever. You want to be world champion again.
I want to be champion again, and in order for me to become champion, I know the belts are tied up at the top at the moment, but in order for me to be champion, I have to beat Derek Chisora. That is first. That's priority on my to-do list.
I want Andy, come here. Just want to drop Andy in for the last 2 minutes with you, Joe. Just sit there. Just pull that chair around. Oh, you stand? No, because you're at different heights. Can you pull the chair around? Mr. Andy. Just a bit of rearranging going on here. Nice to get you two sat together. So, just come in a little bit. There we go. That's it. There we go. Perfect. Now, I was just informing Joseph today of Eddie Hearn's comments about basically accusing Tyson Fury of treason because he's helping Joseph against a fellow Brit. I don't know if you've seen those kind of back and forths between Eddie Hearn and Tyson Fury today.
No, but can I just take this opportunity to thank Tyson for all his help with me and Joseph and giving us the use of his gym, the keys, the facility, all his connections for sparring partners, him training with us, sparring Joseph, letting us live in one of his houses.
Yeah, that's a lot of fighters will say heavyweights don't do that. That's not normal, to look after.
No, but look at Tyson. You got 4 million Instagram followers. Well, who does he promote? He promotes himself, his merchandise, and he promotes all the other young fighters out there. And he's been very good to us. And he is the Gypsy King. He's the leader of our people. Joe's an honorary Gypsy now, and he's carrying the Gypsy flag. And he's one of us. We've took him. There's not much difference between the Samoans and the Gypsies anyway. We're all outcasts. We're all fighters.
Well, in the video, the latest video that Tyson posted around a couple of hours ago, he did make you. Have you seen that video? He would have made reference to Joseph being an honorary Gypsy, which is what you're referring to.
Well, it has to come from the top. You know, no, it can't just be decided. It has to come from the king, and the king has said it. He's ordained it. There'll be another flag on these tracksuits. So, yeah.
Guys, just finally, like I said to you, I was saying to Joseph that we don't quite know how the dynamics of this relationship between you two works completely until after Saturday, which is fair to say.
Yeah, we know how it works ourselves. We're looking forward to showing
the end product, though.
Showing it, yeah. It's all about results, isn't it? At the end, we've had great training, but it's about doing it on the night. And if Joe can just do half the things he's done in sparring, it's going to be a very good night. It's going to be a good night.
So, is someone moving to New Zealand or is someone moving to Dublin?
I'm moving to Dublin for training camp. Any training camp that I want to have, any fights I have lined up, I'll be moving to Dublin. I'll bring the family up. I'm not leaving after this fight. I'm going to be around.
The king said he can be a Gypsy, and the Queen, Katie, said he can come to Ireland, so it's all good.
See?
You got a pass there. You got an absolute pass there. I will shout out Mr. David Higgins, who obviously his partner's expecting a child. That's why he's not here. But yeah, I mean, you can't not miss David Higgins on a fight week.
He's a big part of our team. So
We're missing him.
yeah, we miss him, but wish him all the best with his blessing on the way.
And we're going to flip a coin tomorrow for a ring walk.
I heard about this, yes.
So we want you there to show fair play.
What, are you suggesting a double-sided coin?
We need to inspect it. We need you.
Tell me the time and I'll make sure I'm there.
I think we're going to do it early. Probably
Just send me a WhatsApp, give me a 10-minute warning and I'll make sure I'm there and make sure that...
Someone neutral.
Yeah, obviously I'm completely neutral.
So what side are you? Because you do hang out with the Gypsies a lot, but then you and Delboy have this checkered past. So where's your loyalty?
In this situation, yes, all my friends at home are Gypsies. Grown up with them all my life. Derek is a friend of mine. I like to think Joseph is as well. So, what do you want me to say here?
And what's your thoughts on Billy Joe being your big mate and Eddie? You know what Tyson's saying about him.
Listen, I'll tell you. My thoughts are: listen, Billy Joe's obviously clear to see has got a bee in his bonnet, as we would say here, regarding Eddie Hearn or kind of how the promotion's been run towards Canelo, shall we say? But listen, it's no secret. Billy Joe is one of my closest friends. His whole family are very close to me. So, regardless of anything, I'm backing Billy Joe next week, 100%.
It's good. I think it's a good thing. Well, in a way, it might give Billy Joe that bunker mentality. They're all against me, him against the world. So it might bring out the best in him.
Yeah, look, his relationship and his situation with Eddie Hearn, to be honest, is none of my business. I just know that, just from a friend point of view, I'm backing my friend.
You know I'm interviewing you now, don't you?
Fine, that's fine. You caught me off guard, but it's fine. Listen, I'll make no secret of the fact that next week I'm absolutely backing Billy Joe, 100%. And the sole reason, Billy Joe's my friend, like I said to you. So you stand with your friends and you back your friends. Simple as that.
That's it. That's all you can do.
Want any more from me? Do you want to?
Let me get your views on an Arsenal football team. No, I'm joking.
Don't, because I dread to. Josh, what's the score? What's the score? I'm quite glad I'm doing this interview now, not watching that at the moment. Andy Lee, Joseph Parker, thank you very much for your time. Got the weigh-in tomorrow, and listen, wish you the best of luck on the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you again.